Burhan Qurbani, why did you want to remake Berlin Alexanderplatz in a modern day setting?
I read the book for the first time when I was in my teens, and even if I had a love-hate relationship in that age, I really started to appreciate the novel when I became older, more mature, and also becoming a writer means that you read other brilliant writers' books completely differently. Mm-hmm. And on the other hand, I wanted to give this book that I love a new, like a platform to be read in a different way and to be more current and to be more urgent and to also tell my own narrative.
Cool. All right. So the film is very long. It's just over 3 hours, and of course there's the mini series. And I'm wondering, did you ever think about chopping it up and making it a mini series? Go ahead.
And of course there's this 14-part series by Rainer Werner Fassbinder, which is part of movie pantheon. It's a part of film history, and we very early made a decision not to go there, not to try to compete with that story. So we changed the setting, we changed the time, we changed the main character, but we also changed the format from a series, which of course is a time that you need to be close to the novel and to tell the whole story. And on the other hand, I think that because we watch so many series nowadays, we are confronted with it in the streaming services, and I have the feeling I'm getting a bit of a series fatigue. You know, I want to have a story that starts and ends, and I can leave cinema and don't have to wait a year for the second season. And so no, I take the privilege of having a room, my church, where I can close the door, close the lights, and have the people focused completely, absolutely on this movie for 3 hours instead of binging, I don't know, a season of whatever, cooking and doing everything else but being focused.
Interesting. So I was wondering, you've made some very interesting creative decisions with this project, as we were talking about making it in contemporary society and also making it a film instead of a miniseries. I was wondering, do you see parallels between the Weimar Republic and the contemporary Europe?
I think that it's not only between the Weimar Republic and the temporary Europe. I think it's the world in the 1920s and the world today, like 100 years later. Populism, nationalism are not phenomenons that are limited to Europe. I think if you look to the US, if you go to Turkey, to Russia, to China, there's a political movement that gets stronger and stronger that is frighteningly close to what's happened in the during the 20s in the Weimar Republic.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of interesting because in North America we're all kind of freaking out for the most part. But I feel like while I'm out here in Europe, a lot of people are kind of familiar with this movie script. Like it's happened here before. But yeah.
I mean, the things that I grew up with a father who was working for the U.S. Army. So we were traveling around from barrack to barrack, and I almost feel like a military brat in that sense, being very close to American culture, and I'm still fascinated by American culture, subculture, of course.
Yeah.
But to see the U.S. right now is watching a democracy in decline, and it's heartbreaking. It's devastating, and I'm afraid that the same energy, that political energy that we have there, is also something.
So, Burhan, thanks very much for your time. What do you have planned for the rest of the year?
I'm going to make my taxes first, because that's something that comes as sure as death, and I have to do it. And I want to work on new projects. It's hard enough to do it. I hope that after this release I will still be working as a director.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah. Thank you so much.